Greetings everyone, this is SteamTeamRedubUK, CC Trainor-Ling, here to bring you another retro review from past seasons of The Loud House. In today's video, we take a look at the Season 3 episode where Lori and Bobby think their love for each other might be no more, and they do what they can to fix what might not actually be broken. Today's episode is titled, Missed Connection. First we'll discuss the plot, and then my thoughts and critiques with my final score. So, let's get right into it. In this episode, Lori and Bobby begin to worry they may be falling out of love in their long-distance relationship and try to find new ways of trying to keep it together, both virtually and physically, only for each and every attempt to not go the way they had intended. But after having a phone conversation when Bobby gets locked inside the bathroom at the Food and Fuel, he and Lori come to realize that maybe their love for each other is not as weak as they once thought. Well, that concludes the plot of the episode, so now we come to my thoughts and critiques. This is one of those episodes I honestly thought they would never do with Lori and Bobby, and I'm surprised they actually went through with it. I always thought that after Bobby moved out of Royal Woods, he and Lori would continue having a long-distance relationship with phone calls and video chats, and everything would play out just fine. I appreciate the series for at least making their own attempt at demonstrating how long-distance relationships can have their straining moments, and how maybe being that far apart can have an impact on the couple. Lori and Bobby's supposed strain began when they both neglected to pick up their phones the first time their significant other called, and then they had an awkward phone conversation because of some distractions and misunderstandings on both ends. That's what led them to believe the relationship was in danger, and that's what prompted them to really go out of their way to spice things up. Of course, the end result was a series of unintended mishaps when they tried sending each other a few romantic gifts and trying to have a virtual movie night, inevitably making them believe even more so that their romantic spark was truly reaching its end. Now, even though I will agree with some fans when they say it did seem silly of them to think anything beyond their control was enough to make them believe they were starting to fall out of love, which was pretty much this episode's recurring gag that was mostly played off for laughs, I tend to look at Lori and Bobby's conflict from the perspective of a teenager because that's what they are. Teenagers usually overreact and freak out over all kinds of things, including romance, and since I don't doubt the love Lori and Bobby have for each other, their fears shouldn't exactly be overlooked or downplayed given how long they've been going out and how they've been trying to make this new chapter of their relationship work. Even if their initial attempts to keep each other connected fell apart and we as the audience know it wasn't their fault, it's understandable why they felt they were to blame for those failures and felt they needed to physically be together again to see if they could reignite what they assumed were the dwindling flames of their relationship. That shows how far they will go, literally and metaphorically, to stay together, and that's a huge showing of love from both of them. Granted, it took them nearly 6 hours to finally get together after driving to each other's respective towns for a surprise visit, only to find out they weren't home when they got there, but that's beside the point. Anyway, that's when Bobby tried to recreate the first time he asked Lori out and took her on their first date, as well as Lori trying her own romantic gestures, all of which predictably ending in complete disaster. And if accidentally spilling their favorite foods at Flips wasn't bad enough, Lori really assumed Bobby was never coming back when her boyfriend said he needed to use the bathroom at the Food and Fuel. However, Bobby didn't come back when he was supposed to because the bathroom door was broken, and Flip trying to fix the knob didn't help either. So while waiting for the fire department to come and break down the door, Lori and Bobby had a phone conversation to pass the time, and it was a pleasant experience. No distractions, no misunderstandings, no wacky mishaps to screw things up, just an easy and casual conversation. That's when they both came to realize they may have been freaked out over nothing for the entire episode, and that they still love each other. Call it a literally phoned-in ending all you want, but again, they're teenagers with overactive hormones, so just keep that in mind. And finally, I want to talk about some of my favorite highlights of the episode. I enjoyed the cameos from the Casa Grandes, including Carl trying to swoon Lori like he had tried to do in his previous appearances, Bobby being stupid enough to send Lori a flash drive of the video he made instead of just, emailing it to her, the Pink Floyd reference to Dark Side of the Moon with the restaurant Dark Side of the Spoon, and of course the little moment with Lola, Lana, and the pizza Bobby wanted to give Lori. What Lola thought was a pizza shaped like a heart, which was Bobby's intention, Lana said it looked like a butt, and the twins proceeded to... well, you get the idea. Never in my wildest dreams would I have imagined Nickelodeon letting this slip past the censors, but that's the power of cartoon innuendo. The kids don't know it's being referenced, but we adults do. Oh, yes we do. Yes we do. Overall, this episode may not have been the best demonstration of showing how long-distance relationships can hit some snags and cause the two people involved to question if their love is fading away, but it was still a good enough attempt for the development of Lori and Bobby's characters. Despite being worried over nothing and how their collective feelings of distress were brought upon by a series of events they had no control over in the first place, they still did whatever it was going to take to put those feelings to rest, and it ultimately showed how strong their love actually was, even if they thought it was much weaker. Between them having, in my opinion, their best episode as a couple, and the highlight moments I mentioned earlier, this was still an all-around decent episode for the third season. With that said, I give Missed Connection a 7.6 out of 10. Well folks, that concludes my review of Missed Connection. As far as I'm concerned, this was the pinnacle of Lori and Bobby's relationship in the main series. They sort of dabbled with it in the spin-off, and while they did have their little moments together there, nothing will ever compare to what they went through in this episode. But anyway, what did you guys think of it? Love it? Hate it? Something you would add? Change? Keep it as it is? Let me know in the comments below, and make sure to subscribe to this channel for the latest Loud House content. That's going to do it for me. I'll catch you guys for the next video, but until then, this is SteamTeamRedubUK, CC Trainor-Ling, signing off. Peace out, home slices.